You live in the UK, or you lived in the UK, you've seen instances, you've seen election conduct, you've seen politicians, you've seen electoral bodies and how they conduct their elections. People have argued that the electoral body, most of the litigation burden they place on participants should have been things they should have taken care of. I believe that in some of these clients, when you go into election, most of the conditions that are supposed to have been met by way of, I call it accreditation, by way of certification of credentials and all of those, we are supposed to have been well dealt with by the election body, other than pushing the burden on participants. But where do you stand on those?
Well, it comes back to the same thing that in our society, and thank you very much for that question. I believe that we don't even know in the first place who Nigerians are. I mean, in terms of even the actual number of Nigerians, some will say 170 million Nigerians, 200 million Nigerians or more. We don't have a proper database of the population of Nigeria. We can guess through different sources and all that. So a comprehensive database was, first of all, to actually know who we are. And then from there you begin to go into, and that feeds back to even your qualification, your certification and all that. A lot has happened that even names are being changed, date of births are being bandied here and there. So if you have a proper database, and it will take a long time, and that's why at times I'm reluctant to draw that kind of parallel between what obtains in other climes outside of this place, what is happening here. But we can learn definite lessons from those places as well towards improving our system. If you start off by knowing who Nigerians are, where they live, you have a comprehensive database of Nigerians, I think that will go a long way towards dealing with some of these things. Age, for instance, I mean, a lot of Nigerians have different dates of birth, they have or addresses that are known, they have different places they come from. One minute they are from Ekiti State, or from Osun State, another they are from Lagos State, and some are from Anambra and others are I mean, these are difficulties in the system. So that, I think, is a definite step forward. Then the other ones about qualification, how you verify your qualification in this country. I think some of these little steps that we need to begin to take towards ensuring a robust and credible system that the government will need to seriously look into.
Well, finally, what would be your advice to the political class, considering that if you look at the international community, especially in Africa, there looks to be a kind of renaissance, kind of reawakening the way politicians relate with their immediate community. What are your advice, and how is that going to trickle down to how politicians conduct themselves in relation to those they lead?
Well, I've said that before on this occasion, but the previous occasion, that, listen, if you don't connect with your people, elections are won and lost at the polling units. That's at the grassroots level. So politicians need to be able to connect with their people. If you cannot and you're unable to connect with your people, of course, I wonder what sort of politics you're playing. Even at the, within the political parties, you register within the wards, and everything you're doing starts from the ward upward. And so it is important to go back to the grassroots. At some point, look at it. Every one of us, we all come from one village or the other. You come from if you say you don't come from a village, you come from a town, but there's a particular locality you come from. So you play your politics locally. So it is important that politicians begin to take their immediate environment seriously and begin to impact lives positively within where they live. If you want to make impact, and we've seen it in different places. I mean, if you look at what happens, like you mentioned abroad as well, in Britain, for instance, if you go out there, you see your MPs, members of parliament, you can see them. And we begin to get closer. If you talk to them, go to the local communities, even the campaigns. Out there, people knock on your door and say, oh, I'm this person, I'm campaigning to be this. And they talk to you. That is grassroots politics. And that is when you begin to affect them, because you now know their needs, you know what they want, you know what their issues are, and you can deal with those issues. But if you're disconnected from your people, it is difficult for me to say that you will be able to deliver those dividends of democracy that we talk about all the time.
Interesting time, Mr. Esq. We look forward to having more of these conversations. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.